September 6th changed everything, 5 signals and what to do today 7 nights. Place a hand in your heart, close your eyes for 5 seconds, inhale telling 4, exhale telling 6, feels how the air brushes the palate and goes down like a temperate wave to the abdomen. You recognize yourself at this time where you feel that this message called you today as if I had reserved your name in advance. At the end you will have a simple and decisive action that you can run in 3 minutes to seal the day. If this resonates with you, nods as soon as I present inside. Yesterday, the subtle plot where your life circulates received a different pulse. It was not thunder, it was an adjustment in the tension of the strings that support your days. The digital clock marked any hour, but the edges of time refined, as if a large hand had cleaned the glass inside. You looked up and everything remained the same, however the objects had a more clear vibration, the silence weighed in another way, the pending conversations asked for shifts with voices without sound. The change was not announced, it touched you. And in that rubbing, 5 signs began to appear in your field, like birds that fly before the rain. The first was born in breathing. You noticed that the air entered easier if you stopped, as if an inner door had been greased during the night. Your chest, that lighthouse that sometimes feels shrunk, suddenly expanded with an ancient softness. At times you escaped a sigh that did not look for comfort but space. The body spoke to you clearer than usual and you understood it without a translator. Just as the sea removes the wave to return it with music, your rhythm was picked up to drive you. If the ear tuned, you will discover that breathing proposes a new compass for today, no faster, more truthful. The second expressed itself as synchronies. Messages that coincided, repetitions of numbers, calls that you did not expect, memories that appeared with the smell of a street. A name crossed on your way several times and the world seemed to wink your eye. It was not cheap magic, but alignment. In the same way that a musician refines his instrument and the correct note attracts the others, your thoughts with less noise began to coincide with situations that would have passed you a week ago. There was what you asked for speechless, there you were with the possibility of responding with a simple gesture. The third arose as sensitivity. He touched you a fine sadness or a joy for no monumental reason. You cried a little for tiny scenes, you got excited with the light on a wall, you felt that the skin perceived tones that I previously ignored. That opening did not weaken you, it made you porous to the true. Just as when the rain falls and the dust of the first minute releases a ground aroma that disarms any armor, your heart allowed to smell reality without filters. There inhabits a warning, today it is convenient to speak less high and listen to signs that do not come in phrases. The fourth was a subtle break in habits. A yours mechanism that previously worked automatically showed its seam. You postponed an instant reaction, you avoided a comment that was your stamp, you left the phone on the table with a calm that surprised you. The impulse to respond for impulse became the small act of breathing. That is why millimeter new routes are opened for the same street, and today's decisions can be born from a more still center. The fifth manifested himself as a clarity of purpose, not in great headlines, but in the desire to order, repair, conclude. Something in you said enough to what drips energy and another thing said ahead to what will add clean silence at your hours. He clearly dresses the difference between how urgent it distracts you and the essentials that root you. There is the seal. Meanwhile, the outside world will exhibit noise, but your radar has already learned to distinguish. Open the morning window, even if the temperature is undecided. The smell of bread comes in a nearby block, a motorcycle passes and leaves a vibrant thread in the air, a dog shakes its necklace and the metal produces a minimum bell that however anchors you. You hold the frame with the fingertips and tests again the breathing of 4 and 6. The leaves of a nearby plant have a shine worthy of premiere. The air enters through the right grave with an almost mentholated freshness, a small cloud is formed on the most warm left and dissolves. You feel that the morning chose you and do not pretend to explain it. Take a small roll, write a single word that defines the intention of your day, fold it in 2 and place it in your pocket. Not a list, a lighthouse. You hold the 6/9 turn. Looking that hidden word, something on your low back decompresses. You walk it home and the surfaces return reflex as possible. The forgotten glass looks towards the kitchen as if he knew the way back. Your hands want to make simple rituals. Sorry occupies a place in the tongue with pleasure in Brisa. It is not about becoming a holy occasion, it is about granting an intimate amnesty that stops spending energy on old accounts. Imagine who hurt you, for a minute. Do not search wounds to justify them. Place it in front of you as if the window light delineated without hardness. Breathe 4 and 6. Say your name quietly only once inside the chest and give them freedom to leave the scene. When you finish, prepare an audio of a minute on your phone aimed at you, not that person, where you announce that today you choose to be at peace with what happened. At the end, eliminate it. That gesture opens a corridor. You return to your folded paper and keep it in another pocket, as if you moved a piece of site altar. Coherence looks like a thread that wants to weave the day. You have decided not to force your language. If you ask you how you are not lying to save an appearance, you will say something true and friendly. If you promised something small and forgot to fulfill it, today you will execute it without delay and without excuses. That your word is not elastic, to be breathable. That silent agreement will return a force that does not come from applause, it comes from the rest of not having to remind you of contradictory versions. From here, each phrase will have the fair weight. You hold the 6/9 turn. You go out and traffic offers you its usual score. A child laughs in the corner with a laugh that cuts the noise diagonally, a couple discusses tiredly, a seller sharpens their proclamation until it becomes singing. You are surprised by the amount of eyes that move without looking. In the midst of that speed, your body recognizes another cadence. Just as the Velaz River drags leaves but respects the deep stone, you can move without taking the wave of the superficial. At the height of your chest is an invisible metronome. If someone asks for reaction, you first breathe. If someone provokes you, you look first. If someone needs you, you first listen. Now stop the steps for 10 seconds. Look for a nearby object, anyone can be a house key, a bracelet, a leaf on the floor, and place it at the height of your gaze. Look at its texture, brightness, edge, the small shadow it produces, and in silence bless it as if that object was a humble messenger that reminds you that matter also keeps intention. At the end, leave it where I was, return to your journey with a new softness. Noon arrives and with him a more vertical light fold. You walk through the market and air mix coriander, ripe fruit and moisture of freshly washed tiles. A fan high pushes a warm breeze that returns your neck to the present. You see a woman with heavier bags of what her hands endure comfortable, an older man counts slows, a teenager looks at the vacuum like who takes impulse. The service calls you not as an obligation, but as an opportunity for tune. Buy a piece of additional bread, a liter of water, or a fresh fruit, and deposit it without ceremony in the hands of those who receive it with clean surprise. Do not explain anything. Thanks with the look and continue. That gesture without speech strengthens the groove where your afternoon will circulate. When the service does not seek exhibition, life opens paths. At this point of the day, remember your folded paper. Your word beats. Coherence wants a seat in decisions and also in breaks. Go home or your workstation and dedicate 3 minutes to the entrance door of your space. Remove what hinders, shake the dust from the frame, clean the pickaport with a damp cloth. Each house breathes for its thresholds. If the threshold breathes, a quality of stillness is bought. The order does not pursue perfection, it seeks to have a place. When there is room, the new does not need to break anything to get there. Inhabit today's coherence. Your afternoon will ask for sweet courage. The act of forgiveness comes more difficult, the one that concerns you with you. Scenes are presented where you chose the shortcut and hurt your own trust. Do not judge yourself with punches of words, look at the same light with which you looked at the leaf on the floor. Say in a clear voice, alone, that today you choose to finish the small war that you put in your mind every time you demanded too much. Make a minimal and fulfilled promise, such as sending that pending message, such as washing the dish you left on purpose, such as taking your bed carefully, such as annulling a notification that steals attention. Sometimes reconciliation with oneself resembles a glass of water placed in the exact place of the table. You adjust the chair, leave the phone aside, you feel without sinking and listen to the body. A neck muscle releases a microscopic knot, the stomach asks for something fresh, the chest wants light. Open the curtain. Let the suspended dust become a small bright cosmos for 2 minutes. The world will continue its turn. Your shoulders descend, your jaw yields. When you breathe like this, an old calm memory returns to occupy its place. Allowing it is also an act of service, because a human being in peace multiplies peace effortlessly. If it is possible, take a notebook now. Write 3 lines about what you understood from morning to here, not as a complaint, but as a light inventory. At the end of those 3 lines, add the decision you will fulfill before last night. Sign with your initials. Save the notebook. Continue. The world will touch the door with matters, and you will know which to open and which to postpone for tomorrow without guilt. This is the gymnastics of coherence. Say yes where there is truth, say not where there is a pact with where. Inhabit today's coherence. You approach half of this tour with a presence that, already recognizing, feels the edge of an invisible step. A blunt thought appears in the mind and does not seek permission to stay. You didn't come to survive the day, you came to release it. Stay until the end, there is the key you came to look for. The afternoon advances with a light that leans and discovers textures on the walls. Conversations acquire new density. A small fear appears, to return to the automatic pilot and lose what is won. Do not fight with him. Velo, saludalo, and continue. If a close person asks you for something that contradicts your limits, offers a soft alternative that does not break you. If someone tells you a pain, do not compete with a greater pain, give presents, do not recipes. Touch the edge of your shirt and remember that the body itself is a return tailism. Second microesana, sunset, and you are standing next to a traffic light that takes a little more than usual. The wind brings a song with a deep bass from a detainee. The faces around you configure a constellation of urgent stories. An old man looks at the clouds with a patience that blesses the street. You take a hand to your pocket, touch the paper with your word, and you feel that the beat is synchronized with something bigger than the city. When crossing, you help load a bag for 20 steps, not many. You deliver the bag and follow your path lightly. This concrete act in matters the internal axis you chose in the morning. While the light falls, a call that rarely attended on time goes. The body needs water. It interrupts for a moment what you are doing and slowly drinks a glass of water, not less than 3 broad sips, with a tension in the tongue, in the throat, and in the stomach. Look how the temperature changes inside. Note how the mind turns off a subtle noise. That gesture returns you to the present as a clean bell. The second section of your day asks for a silent statement of direction. It will not be a speech, it will be a practice. If you are in transport, straighten your back a little. If you are at home, place both parallel feet. Close 3 breaths, remember what you promised to fulfill before the night. The time feels elastic when the focus is refined. Open your eyes with a kind expression even if nobody looks at you. Continue. Inhabit today's coherence. The night begins its light ceremony. The high floors return yellow squares to the street, a dog will bark far, a child will ask why the sky does not fall yet, a couple will laugh in a kitchen. Around you, the world unwinds its routine tablecloth, but you are in front of a threshold that wants consecration. The third section of this trip opens here, when you decide that the energy gained during the day does not escape by the cracks of old habits. For that, you return to the 5 principles that today become hands: forgiveness, coherence, service, order, gratitude. Sorry today ends in a concrete gesture that you did not repeat. Send a brief message to someone you broke links and do not expect an answer. He only writes that you want peace for that story and appreciate what I learned. Or, if it does not correspond, place its name for a moment in a glass of water that you will not drink and then throw it to the sink, allowing the water to take it. That act leaves at home a finer silence. Consistency today becomes a practical decision in the minimum finance. If you offered a payment, do it even if it hurts a little and rearrange for tomorrow with intelligence. If you had to charge and cost you to ask, send a clear and friendly message requesting what is agreed. The money, when it comes to it, ceases to be ghost and becomes common. Do not look epic, seek neatness. The service today is expressed in a call that nobody expects, someone who usually ignores. 10 minutes of listening without hurry. Or at the door of your house, leave a liter of water with a good will for those who clean the building or for a neighbor. Do not firm. Just leave a mark that another foot will recognize speechless. The order now looks at your night table. Empty it, clean the surface, return only what invites rest and brief reading. A cleared night table teaches the dream to enter without stumbling. The break that arrives will not be an award, it will be a consequence. Gratitude closes with a small ceremony. Choose 3 objects from your home, not valuable for price, valuable per history. Tommel them in the hands one by one and say in a low voice thanks 3 times in front of each one. Do not repeat mentally, pronounce. The voice places invisible columns that support the roof of the night. Acts from present abundance. Third microesana, you leave an outdoor moment, even to a balcony or the open window. The sky shows a deep blue that almost melds with black, some stars shy, a slow cloud moves as if a silent shepherd will guide it. In a corner, a feral Tyila. You rest your hands on the edge, you feel the roughness or cold of the metal, you detect a light smell of wood smoke. You breathe the nose and exhale them through the mouth. In your pocket, your folded word is heated with the temperature of the thigh. You decide that this scene becomes an oath. You stand up in front of the door of your house, with your feet separated to the width of your shoulders, and take 3 slow steps towards the street with full awareness, stopping at the end of the 3rd step. You look forward and confirm in silence that the day changed your way of walking. Tours and return with 3 steps to your starting point. Seal loss. Before climax, he grants a respite. Look at the roof for a few seconds and let the mind empty as a glass to which you no longer need to add water. Feel the exact weight of your body on the floor. Note how silence does not ask for anything, it is only offered. The time comes for the decision you promised at the beginning. Find your role with the morning word. Sit. Return to the breath of 4 and 6 for 4 cycles. Write on the reverse the time you do and the place where you are, with the honesty of who knows himself witnessing himself. Take a tape or a thread, click around the folded paper with a simple knot and keep it until tomorrow. Tomorrow you will open it and check if today's word acted as it should. If you prefer, place it under your pillow tonight, so that the rest is permeated and the dawn activates it. The action takes 3 minutes. Its effect, if coherence accompanies, endures. While you execute this little rite, on September 6th it is consolidated as an intimate turning point and not as a noise in memory. What changed yesterday finds its channel today. The world will continue with its news. You, with your practice. Life appreciates when they take it seriously with sustained simple gestures. There are phrases that do not need to be signed with names because they vibrate with the evidence of what has been experienced. Today you understood that fainting on the surface steals the depth, that delaying the obvious exhausts more than doing it, than saying to the essential reduces 100 battles that was never worth fighting. This recognition will not weigh tomorrow, it will make you lighter. Acts from present abundance. A peak of clarity returns to 80-5% of your journey. Two phrases stand at the center of your chest as if they had expected this minute. Do not negotiate your peace with old habits. Do not beg for meaning when you feel direction. The night listens to you and nods. Take your favorite glass and fill it with clean water, place it on your night table. Don't drink it now. It will be the signal for dawn. Before bed, look for the window for the last time. There is a light in the house in front that goes out with the modesty of those who do not want to get attention. That light points to you the next paragraph of your life with the most humble language, turning off in time. If you still have a pending conversation with you, stay 2 more minutes. Place your hands on the abdomen. Think about a single thing you will do tomorrow to continue today. Do not plan 20, choose 1. Naming it without promising it in excess already brings it to the table of the day. Allow the dream to be around you. Some memories will come to greet you, let them pass how to pass the birds when they cross the square at sunset. If thought insists with accounts, return it to the body. Tell him tomorrow, with Clara Luz, there will be room for the figures, which will now be the turn of rest that feeds experiences that no account can understand. Acts from present abundance. When you wake up, the tape around the paper will remind you that your word was not a whim of the moment, it was a pact of September 7th with your center. That continuity between days gives you a soft dignity that accompanies and does not pushes. If you decide to share this process with someone, do it with discretion, to inspire without displays. And if this message sustained you in a stretch, if it turned on a small lamp or gave you a reason for 3 minutes, consider inviting others to this space and subscribe to continue receiving these revelations that take care of the day how the warm bread that is shared at home is taken care of.